Good morning, everyone, or whoever's out there. Big old goose egg on the screen as far as watchers, even though I know there are people talking in the chat. Hey, there we go. It's up to 12 people. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us on a Not Shooting the Shelf episode tonight. This is not your regularly scheduled program. If you'll remember, a couple weeks ago, I did one of these with my buddy Brendan on a Tuesday night after Jeff finished his not I don't know what Jeff's calling it, work in progress or something like that. So I'm doing it again tonight with my buddy and yours. But tonight, I just want to real quick say hello to the folks in the chat that are here now, or at least have commented. Freaks Figures, what's going on? Dave Orkin, I saw you this weekend. Dub3, I saw you this weekend, and I'm pretty sure he got the first something this weekend from ZoloCon. J-Mac is here. What's up, J-Mac? William Houston, hello. Kevin Boots, member for 24 months, aka 2 years. Thank you, Kevin. I am TJ Williams. Jen Lucky Sprinkles, hello. Was a long day for Jesse. Not as long as yesterday, not yet, but we're getting there. L Tidy, the one and only Brett Stoddard, saw you today as well. Hayes, EHL, welcome. Tanya McCoy, Geisegway, saw him in the fam this weekend. No, Curtis, this is not shooting the shelf. This is not shooting the shelf. This is whatever this is, live rambles. This is not your regularly scheduled show. So there's no shelf selections, none of that stuff. Just hanging out tonight with a friend, Jordan, Wholesome Warlock. How's it going, bud? Jordan, are you guys back? Or are you still in? Did you leave today? I don't know. Yes, no shells being shot in tonight, Kevin and Brian at Carver Customs. Hello. All right. 1 hour away from home. All right. Drive safe, guys. Take care of yourselves. And it was really good to see you this weekend and all the awesome purple stuff you guys did. Oh, which I got to check. I got to make sure I get my demon hot dog cats out of my shirt pocket. OG, just shelve it. No, I don't know. Greg and Len saying, "Hey, what's up, guys?" All right, I'm gonna just bring our guests on tonight. You, if you've been to shows on the East Coast over the past year, pretty much exactly the past year, you've seen him at Legion's Con. He's been on here. He's been on Offworld, folks. Let's welcome to the stage tonight the one and only Crom 316, aka Mark Lonky. Welcome, Mark.
What's up, guys? How's it going?
So you got home safe and sound. Well, I guess you were there yesterday. You didn't get to make it in today to ZoloCon, did you?
No, I did not.
I knew that. I don't know why I asked that. I knew the answer to that question.
Well, our viewers didn't know that.
Yes. So yeah. So Greg and Len and a couple other from the studio before we get into ZoloCon talk are headed to, is it Tennessee or Kentucky? I'm not sure which one. One of those states down there. For Gamma is a gaming trade show, I guess, kind of like Toy Fair, but for games, like tabletop games, role-playing games, that sort of stuff. They're going to, yes, or as they say in one of my favorite epic historical films, Kentucky. Last of the Mohicans. Yeah, all right. I love that. Everybody's like, "Hey, how is it you're going west?" He's like, "Well, we face north and real subtle, like turn left." Such a good movie. Great soundtrack. So they're going down there for that to promote the awesome Kickstarter campaign that is going on for Mythic Legions, the role-playing game, which we can talk about a little bit later. But for now, Mark, what's going on, man?
Not much. Recuperating from yesterday. They finally came off my adrenaline high probably this morning. Yeah, it was. I was super stoked yesterday. Got to see. It felt like a lifetime. I know Legion's Con was only 3 months ago, but it felt like a lifetime since I've seen everybody.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Feels like a lot of life has happened for a lot of people since that first weekend in November.
Yeah. So it was like super like exhilarating to see everybody yesterday. I saw Brian Carr, I saw Schmerbs, I saw G, Dub. I did not get to see Jordan. I saw him in the crowd and I went to go say hi to him and I turned around to make sure my son was with me. And then when I turned back around, I lost him in the sea. I saw Van.
Which is hard to do. I mean, Jordan and Van kind of, they're very identifiable in a crowd.
Yes, they stick out.
So to get lost there, that lets you know how crazy ZoloCon packed was yesterday.
Yeah, it was.
Those words didn't come out in the right order, but you get what I'm saying.
The first Saturday morning was a complete shit show for entry. I almost missed out on the Legendary Warrior.
Okay. So for folks who weren't there, what my understanding was, and you were in the line, so you might be able to give us a little more insight. So ZoloCon is now at the Valley Forge Casino Resort, and the convention center is on the lower floor under the casino. So you come in on the ground level to the casino, and then you go downstairs. And they had the early bird access, and my understanding is that there were some people who were early birds that still didn't get in until after general admission started, and they had been in line the whole time. Mm-hmm. But the line was so bad upstairs. I don't know if it was in the lobby that it was the problem or outside, but like I think the fire marshal had to come and like they're like, you have to let these people in. This line cannot stay like this. And they actually let everybody in about a half hour earlier for the early bird than everybody was ready. So we were all like, what's going on? So what was that like in line for? You were pretty close to the front, weren't you? Maybe 20 people back or less?
Yeah, I was like maybe 10, 15 deep because I got there super early. We left, I got up at 4:00 in the morning. I'm about an hour and a half away. I think by the time, we got ready and we stopped at Dunkin', me and my son, we were on the road by 4:45. So I think we got to the casino at about, I'd say 6:15, between 6:15 and 6:30. We probably would have got there a little sooner, but it was very thick fog in some areas, so I had to slow down.
Okay.
When I got in there, I saw Dub, and I saw some other people I knew. I was hanging out with them. I wasn't too deep in the line, and we were just waiting. We were shooting the shit. Brett showed up a little later. More people showed up. Dylan. Then
I got to inject real quick here. For those of you who don't know, Brett, congratulations, has retired. Congratulations, L.
Oh, nice.
And I told him today, I was like, retired Brett looks like Brett's always been pretty chill and casual. But I told him today, I was like, you look like you could be hanging out with the dude. And he like waits a beat and he's like, well, that's like your opinion, man. And it was good stuff. Yeah. So Brett, cheers to you. Hope you have something to do, like organize 18 bazillion fodder parts. I don't know.
Yeah, he should have enough to keep him busy. He actually, when he showed up in the morning, he looked a little disheveled. Yeah, I mean, he just woke up. I'm assuming he stayed at the hotel. He reminded me of Doc Brown, and I say that with all due sincerity. He did look like Doc Brown. His hair was quite the sight to see.
Great Scott, Marty, we got to get to the 4 Horsemen line.
Nothing but love for you, Brett. Nothing
heavy.
but love.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah. with the horn. So, all right. So continue. Dylan shows up. A couple other people show up. You're in
Yeah, and
line.
Dylan had his the monkey from Monster Force around his neck on a rope. I thought that was kind of cool. Yeah, he was
I
carrying
did
that
not.
thing
I
around.
did not. Yeah, because I guarantee you that thing doesn't fit in his pocket.
No, no, not at all. You could probably bludgeon somebody to death with that thing. That thing's pretty heavy. It's
Right.
pretty solid. So they somebody came up and they were like, hey guys, come on down. And I'm thinking this was between 7 or 7:30. We all went down and we were lining up, and then they're like, "No, this is for vendors." Vendors. I said, "This is for vendors." The guy that was saying this, and it's like, Dub and I were saying, it's like he never said vendors, and like this guy was getting a little irate that we all came down, so we had to all go back up, which wasn't a big deal. Everybody just filed back up. We got back pretty much in our places, and we were chilling, and then I don't know, it was 8. It was between 8 or 8:30. They let us go down. Now this is where it was a shit show. It was an absolute dumpster fire. You had a woman down there that was saying to line up against the wall. Right now, you could plainly see when you went down the stairs that they had a separate section for VIP to for people to go get their passes. They had a separate section further down for general admission. And of course, people who went early on Friday, because they believe there was a show on Friday,
Yep.
they had already gotten their passes. So what the woman wasn't properly conveying was that the people who already had their passes should line up on the far side of the wall with the elevators, and people who don't have their passes, who need to still check in, who've already pre-purchased, need to get on the VIP line. She didn't do that. Then another guy showed up, and he was like, "Everybody need everybody to go over here." He's just trying to usher everybody around, and I'm like, I'm really confused now. Like, I have to check in. I don't have my pass yet, but I'm seeing everybody I'm in line with, like Dub and everybody else. They've got their passes already. Then my son's like, what's going on? I'm like, I have no clue. So I'm looking over at the VIP line. Now there's people going in that queue that were like 50, 60 deep from me. Now
Oh,
they're jumping the line, and now they're at the head up there waiting to check in. And I'm like, this isn't right, because I know what's going to happen when they start letting people in. I'm not going to have a pass, and they're going to be like, you got to go over there, right? So the guy that was, I guess, running the thing, black hair, skinny guy, whatever. I go up to him and I go to ask him a question, which line should I be in? And he's like not listening to me, right? It's like I'm talking and it's going in one ear and out the other, and he just wants me to get out of his face and go over against the wall. And I'm like, bro, I need you to step back, take a deep breath, and hear what I'm saying. I have already prepaid. I do not have a pass. I should not be over there. They already have passes. Oh, well, you need to be in this line. Okay. I have been here since 6:30 in the morning. I was like 10, 15 deep in the line. Look at this line now. There's like 60 people in front of me. I was like, what are we going to do about this? He's like, I got you. I said, okay. He's like, just get in line. All right. I get in line. I wave my son over. Now I've got to pay a general admission ticket for my son. And they keep saying this line is only for people who prepaid. General admission has to wait until later. I'm like, what am I going to do? Because I'm not going to leave my son by himself. So I've got a dilemma going on. So I guess it was around 9 o'clock when I guess the fire marshal or whatever you were talking about, they started letting people in early. They started letting people who prepaid go through the line. One thing I thought was very organized this year was when you went to go show them that you've already prepaid, they already had your figures ready. So, however many
oh, cool.
Grim figures you bought or whatever other figures you got, They were already in bags and they were handing them to you with everything else. Unlike last year where you had to go stand in a separate line and
Yep.
go pick up those figures. So I thought that was pretty organized. Um, so I get up, it's my turn in line. I get up there, I showed him my thing from the phone. He's like, all right, you got a pass, the 2-day pass, and 3 figures. I was like, listen, I got a problem. I was like, he's like, yeah, I know. We're gonna try and get you in there. I was like, no, that I've got a separate problem. Um, my son is a last minute add on. He decided he wanted to come at the last minute. I need to get him a general admission ticket, but I can't leave him here by himself. He's like, don't worry about it. So he called the woman over. The woman gave me my band, and then they just slapped a band on him. So my son got in for free, which
Oh,
I
wow.
thought was cool. Yeah, I thought was cool. So I thought to myself, all right, you let my son in for free. All right, we're good. We're square. All right, I'm not gonna cause a fuss. Not gonna cause a scene. Whatever. We get everything we need, and we start walking out. And then I see the sea of people, and there's 2 separate lines, and I get in the wrong line, and I'm like, what is this for? And they're like, oh, this is general admission. I was like, well, what's that line for? Oh, that's for 4 horsemen. Oh, okay. So we go over to the 4 horsemen line, and I'm just looking, and that went all the way down past the Monster tent that they had there, the Monster Energy drink tent, and wrapped all the way back around. And I'm like, oh man, I'm seeing in the distance. I see Brett and I see Dub Dub. I see Dylan. I was like, oh Jesus, I'm like 100 deep, if not maybe
Oh
more.
gosh.
And I'm like, the whole time I'm kind of sweating. Like, am I going to get this figure? I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be so mad if I don't get it, especially getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Uh, they had to snake the line around because how it was shaped, it was a problem. So we snaked around a certain way, and we're just standing, we're waiting, and we're waiting. I saw Schmerbs in line. I saw Brian Carr. I saw G. I went up and I said hi to G. And finally, the line started moving. I guess 9:30, you guys opened up, started doing sales, and the line started going. Some 4 horsemen people came out. They were handing out stickers and whatnot. I'm not too familiar with I don't want to call them ancillary employees, but I'm not familiar with everybody there. Like I'm familiar with the top people, and of course Greg, and Cookie and Diego from being on YouTube and
Mm-hmm.
whatnot. But some of the other ancillary people that work there, the employees, I'm not too familiar with, not overly friendly with. Uh, but they were coming out. They were handed stickers. The one guy, I don't know what his name is. He was coming out filming the line, and
Oh,
just
Brad. That's Eric's
okay,
brother.
okay, Brad.
So he's the one doing all the documentary style stuff
Yes.
and the promo videos. Yeah.
Yeah. So he came out with the camera and he was filming the line and whatnot. He was talking to people, and then we started going up and we started getting close. And I was looking. We were getting, for some reason, the line like came to a grinding halt as soon as me and my son hit the beginning of the Horseman
Oh
tables.
no.
It came to a grinding halt, and we were like standing there for like 15 minutes. And I was looking behind me, and I saw that line was still like way past me, uh, going down. So the line picked back up. It started moving after about 10, 15 minutes. And I'm looking at all the figures and stuff, and I'm like, nope, I'm going to be a good boy. I'm here for one thing and one thing only from them. I said, I've got pretty much most everything they have out here. I was eyeballing the skate back, and I'm like, no. I really had to fight the urge. So we get up to the front there, and I'm looking, and they had 3 or 4 of the Legendary Warrior on the table. My son grabbed one, I grabbed one, and I just happened to look behind, and there was one case back there, and Cookie was pulling figures out of it, and it was like it wasn't a full case. So I was just thinking to myself, I was like, man, we got here just in the nick of time in that line, because there's going to be people behind us that are not going to get. They are not going to get. And I kind of felt bad for them. So yeah, that was the experience for Saturday morning shenanigans.
Yeah. Where Wolf King was, we were the third spot in behind the Horsemen, and the four Horsemen had 4 spots, so we were kind of just off center, like where I was standing, so I could hear a lot of the commotion and stuff going on, and just because of the way things were set up, and there were definitely people that were upset about it. Now, for anyone watching who did not go, if you are new to the Legion's community and Four Horsemen stuff, so we're talking about the legendary the legendary warrior, the female counterpart to the legendary barbarian that came out last year. I did get one Friday night, barely. And so just so you know, they're not dishing this stuff out to vendors like we're someone special. We have to do all the same stuff as everybody else. Today I saw there was a bunch of vendors lined up before the general admission came in, and the Horseman had to be like, you're not here, which was a little rough because usually that's Jeremy's job. And like I said, Jeremy and Len and some other folks are going down to that convention in Kentucky. So they're not doing double duty and doing 3 days of a show on the weekend and then however many days the show is during the week. So, but yeah, even before the Horsemen came, I was talking to the guys from Borderland Horde, and one of them over just want to be like, hey, just to give you guys a heads up, you're probably not going to be able to check out. You're going to have, if you want to get in line, go get in that line with everybody else. And like, well, we're vendors, and they refused to leave. And eventually Jim came in and I think said something to him, and then George was dealing something, and I didn't see the whole thing go down, but I know, like, there was some kerfuffle of argument, with the Horsemen. And it's like, I've seen every show I've gone to, I have seen them turn vendors away beforehand. And yeah, L Tidy saying, Brett saying Jim took control. I imagine Jim, if he had to step back a second time, he just went into like dad mode. He's like, look, I told you guys once, you're adults, you need to get out of here. Like, this is not how we do. I've seen Jeremy turn people away at shows. I've seen the other guys like, I'm sorry, like, I wish I could, but get in line. The only time I've ever seen anything done different than that was when they had a banana balls amount of stock and they knew they were not going to run out. And they were like, I'm not going to sell it to you now. There will be enough here for you when you come through. Like, that's the most like pacification of vendors I've ever seen, is just the reassurance that they would get their chance to get the stuff without having to wait in line for 3 hours in the morning or 7 hours or however long some people were in line. So, yeah. And yeah, Tidy saying, they don't allow vendor pre-sales. I mean, that's the whole point of the early bird ticket. And I know that's frustrating for some people who are vendors. I'm almost always at shows as a vendor, and I don't get bonus, specialty points. Like, it's that's not how they roll. So they want to respect the fans. They're like, look, if you want to get in line with the fans that have been out there since 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. or midnight the night before or whatever, go ahead if you're okay leaving your table alone. But you got to wait with them if you want to get in line first. So,
yeah, I saw that. I saw that firsthand when you were directly behind Four Horsemen. How your table was set up on the opposite aisle, so you guys were like back to back, and all you had to do was just like step into the back there, say something to somebody, and get what you need. But
yeah,
you didn't do that. You actually left and walked out and got online to go purchase what you needed to purchase. So yeah, I can personally say that is true. I did witness that.
Yeah. Yep. And I mean, I've seen it with Len. Like Len did that when he was doing street teams. I'm sure other street teams have as well. But working with Len, and when Len was doing the Wolf King street teams, he was the same way. He's like we're not selling this stuff beforehand, and he would have to turn people away. And I know that upset some people, but like that's and Jeremy has talked about that. Other people talked about that's one of the prices of being a vendor at a show. You know, sometimes like if it's like we were selling stuff, if people came up, but like we didn't have a limited number of exclusive stuff, that's up to each vendor to determine. There's no set rules. If there are set rules, it comes from the convention, unless the business has their own thing. So, and the other thing I want to say for anyone, if you are new or not sure how all this stuff plays out, this was just the first convention of the year that this figure was available.
Correct.
It will be available at all official Horseman represented shows this year. I know at Legion's Con, everybody was hot for the Barbarian all year long last year. At Legion's Con, that Barbarian was still available through Sunday. I don't know if he eventually sold out on Sunday at the show, but I know he was available at least through most of the day Sunday. You can get him. You're just going to have to wait. If you can't get to a show, and they are sticking to their word, they are being strict on their word of one per person per day. Those guys at the register, they recognize people. Like they know. Maybe someone will slip through, but like they would not let people come back and get another one. They would not let a super committed fan buy two, on the fly, under the radar. Like, I think that's why they use clear bags, is so people can see like where if you get a lot or if you have a box, that's the thing. But if, anyway, I don't know. I'm just speculating. But
don't pay eBay prices. It's going to be readily available.
Don't pay eBay prices, because you're just encouraging people who don't actually want the figure to go out, wait in line, and get it. And then it takes from someone who actually wants the figure for themselves, or if they're looking for a friend, or someone who can't come to a show. There are obviously not every state, not every city is going to have a show the Horsemen go to. They are trying to expand and make things more available. But if you can't get to any of the shows up till Legion's Con, she will be available in some sort of online sale at some point, like the Barbarian was. I don't remember when he went up. It was sometime after Legion's Con or early this year. I don't remember. And those usually go fast because that's usually the remaining stock, whatever's left over. So I will say this. If you just want that buck and you're a customizer, Neve is coming out soon from the retailer waves. It's essentially the same build or very similar. There are some differences, the head sculpt, that sort of thing. You keep your eyes on I don't know how soon he'll be able to get one, but some people might start parting these out, down the road. So just keep your eyes open, watching the Cabal, do a good deal, do a good trade. And be patient. You'll get it.
Well, let's not forget, too, that Jeremy said that they were keeping a hefty stock of female warriors in reserve for the end of the year sale. So they avoid what happened with the Legendary Barbarian selling out as quick as it did.
Okay. Well, see, that's the thing. Now, last year was the first year they did a year-long traveling figure, so they know what to order. I think Mythic Legions is one of the companies whose female figures kind of buck the trend on the female figures sit on the shelves. Because all of their female figures are awesome. And I would say the female figures that sit on shelves are because they're not good, not because it's a female. Like, that's just my opinion. Like I remember people were pointing at the Princess Leia in the Jabba, the Hutt Slayer Slave Leia princess costume from Jedi. And it's like, yeah, because it didn't look like Carrie Fisher at all. The articulation looked garbage. Like no one wanted it because it looked like a horrible figure. Yeah. But all that said, Horsemen weren't the only ones there. There was a couple other companies that had exclusives. There was the Zolo exclusives that they had a 4 Horsemen figure, which again, there will be a regular standard version of that that's just missing a couple parts, not missing a couple parts. That's the standard version. The ZoloCon has a couple extra pieces in it. And I know there was some drama over that. That's not something the Horsemen have any control over, so don't gripe to the Horsemen about that. Once they make something for a client at that point,
it's out of their hands.
It's the client's thing. Now, if they want to address it in some way in the future, that's up to them, how that's handled. But,
cash grab.
That's to say. And, I didn't see the interactions. I read a couple posts about it. I'm not going to speculate. Having met the guy that runs the place a couple times, you know what? I'm just going to not say anything because I don't want it to come across the wrong way. But, unless you know somebody, you never know what somebody's going through or what their life is like. And it may not necessarily be as nefarious as some people are making it sound. I don't know. Some people are just different to how other people are, and it comes across the wrong way, is all I'm trying to say. That, because he clearly tried to help you out and helped you get in and let your son in.
Yeah.
Admission's a huge part of this stuff. The vendor tables are a huge part. You've seen that place. It has to cost a lot.
Yeah, that place is huge.
To be in there.
Huge. It's bigger than the Marriott for Legion's Con for sure.
Yeah. It's a casino, so I'm sure there's all sorts of like insurance stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And the Toy Con, there's tons of kids at the Toy Con.
Yeah.
At Zolo. So, but yeah, so if you want Grim, which I have him here, not usually my cup of tea, but I have the other Zolo ones, so I figured I might as well keep, going with the set on those. It's a Horseman figure, so it's got all the things you'd expect and want. It just is a little creepy for my tastes, but it is cool. I will say the other Galactic Valor had a figure. Was it the Fox Forge Toys? They had 2 exclusives, a blue and a red translucent version that are kind of not test shots, but kind of early productions. Those are going to be coming out in the spring. They that lineup looked really cool. They had the production samples there.
Mm-hmm.
I know Vala had some stuff.
Ugh.
Savage Crucible had stuff. I'm just commenting.
I know.
I didn't go for any of those myself.
I'm saving my Valor rant for Offworld on Friday. And believe me, I have a rant.
But and that's one of the cool things I think that Zolo has transitioned is Skeletron had stuff. They were giving out free tattoos, which I think, did you hold that arm up? All right, let me embiggen you here. Shabam. So there you go, folks.
Courtesy of Dub Dub. Dub Dub was the one that told me about this. And he told me
Dub Dub was the first one that got it, I think.
I believe he was, and I am just I have mad respect for him from where he got it.
Now, did he post pictures? Dub Dub, are we allowed to talk about this? I don't think you're shy about this at all. I know he says yes.
How could he? He got it?
True. If I get desperate, I'll trade a Sir Elijah for the female warrior. Hank, there were definitely people looking for Elijah and what's his face? I think they had is it Enoch?
No, they didn't have any Enochs.
They didn't have Enoch. Okay,
they're sold out. They dried up.
And I know Elijahs are pretty hard to come by at this point too. So hey, here's table mate Patrick Boyle. I got to hang out with him and Nate Armstrong and all weekend, and then Brian C yesterday from CB Make was there. I don't see Dub Dub. He's not saying don't. All right, I'm just gonna say it. Dub Dub, you're gonna have to. You've got like 5 seconds for me to rant here. Yes or no? Yeah. Come on.
He's chomping at the bit, Dub.
And I know some people were trading stuff. I know Dr. Brent was trading with some people, some of the, his personal Rising Sun stuff for some figures, and like that's all cool. I think that's fair. If you those figures are worth whatever you want, and if you go to a convention, you spend the time for the ticket, you spend the time in lines, time and gas, you put that figure up for a little bit more than you paid for it. I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem with 150, 200,
Yeah.
just because you want to me, that's kind of predatory on people's FOMO impulse buy.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when it's the first release in something like this, and maybe people aren't going to know that it's going to be available. Because not everybody's in the cabal, not everybody pays attention to the Horseman posts on Facebook or Instagram. Not everybody's in that world. And that's okay. You don't have to be. All right. So Dub saying go for it. He got it on his noggin. I don't remember where on his
This
head.
side
It
of
was
his
on his
head.
head, on the side of his head.
Yep.
And I totally forget. See, you say, how could he be shy about it? But he generally has a cap on to the point where he had it off. I didn't realize he had other tattoos already on his head.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's got this
So
really cool one on the back of his head. I
I'm
meant to
either
ask him what it was, but I forgot.
super inobservant, which could be the case, or I've just never seen his head without his hat on,
Yeah.
which could also be the case. So, yes. Now, Dub's been acting really tough ever since he got his head tattoo.
I think Dub's always been tough.
I think he has. Dude goes, all right. I don't think I'm saying anything out of turn because I know you post about it sometimes, Dub. Sometimes he goes for days without sleep and is still somehow a functioning human being. So mad props to you, Dub. Like I've had insomnia at times, but I don't think it can compare anywhere to what you have talked about. So all right, let's not get all super emotional. But yeah, you're a good dude. We love you, and badass for getting the tattoo. Badass to you, Mark, for getting the tattoo. Saw a couple other people doing stuff. Someday I'll get another one. Someday, but I'm not going to get a company. That's not a judgment on anyone who did. That's just personally.
Well, I look at it this way. It's some of the designs that people got, they're so benign. It's like you wouldn't know really that's at first
That's
the company logo. It
that's one of the cool things about that. When I saw that one, I was like, you know what? That
it almost reminds you of maybe like the Punisher skull
yep. It's
or a Spartan skull helmet.
yeah,
Something to that effect.
yeah.
It There was another one that they have another design with a different skull in it with the
Okay,
triangle. That is also another one that's kind of benign. But I
okay,
mean, if you get the Robo skull, I mean that's like in your face. A lot of people pretty much know what that is. That definitely is a toy.
yeah. Oh man, the Punisher logo. That that that's a whole can of worms. How many military and like law enforcement people have embraced that logo?
Yes, yes,
And it's like you realize that's like being the Pope and wearing like a pentagram with the devil's face on it. Like it's
yes,
that opposite to what you stand for.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, if it just means badass to you, I guess, but like um
I I
it just cracks me up anyway. I'm not gonna go super deep into the political spectrum tonight, but it just
it,
cracks me up that the people who are wearing it most of the time, 10 of times, they know it's from Punisher, but they don't know that it. Ugh.
I think people gravitate towards it, especially the police and the military, because it is a badass design.
It is. It is. until you look at the original costume and realize this dude was wearing a leotard, all black leotard, and the teeth were just like pouches on his belt. It takes a little fire out of it.
Yeah. I would like to see you if he was in real life Punisher running around in leotards, calling him a sissy for wearing leotards.
I'm just saying the way people reacted to comics when I was a kid and those things, they were always those like just skin tight spandex with like,
yes,
you know, like Barbie doll smooth skin, you know, in all the places that needed to not show stuff, which not that it needs to, but like, because if you think about it, and unfortunately it's in my mind, so I'm going to share with everybody, like the X-Men should all be running around like David Bowie in Labyrinth.
Okay.
Like if they're wearing skin tight suits, unless they have like retractable junk, like it shouldn't be like a shiny, smooth, like Ken doll down there, right? I mean,
right.
Anyway, I digress. But yeah, think about that for a little bit. All your favorite superheroes wearing skin tight costumes, all the dudes should look like David Bowie's crotch in Labyrinth to varying degrees. You know, if you want to get specific, but so now that that's in the pipe and getting smoked, I don't think the Punisher is a sissy. And yes, Dub does say he was in the military. He was, but like that symbol comes after the military service. Like that wasn't his identity in the military, you know. And that I'm not poo-pooing on the military or the police. Like my dad and all my uncles were both in the military and the police, so like I have respect. I also think that, you know, there are good and bad people in every walk of life. So, you know, there's good and bad people everywhere. So, can I say this out loud on YouTube?
Yes.
You folks can read it. Where's the moose knuckles? Exactly. Okay, I gotta say, I think you saw this, and I'm gonna keep it in my traveling case for whenever I do shows when I set up. So Friday night or Friday afternoon, whenever we were in there setting up, Uncle Bob and Aunt Shelly come through. Now, Uncle Bob's close to me, location wise. I see him pretty regularly. Stop in and say hi to him and Aunt Shelly and the pups at their shop and stuff. But before I had Kevin removed, he gave me a California raisin and said, you know, he had this whole thing. And Friday when he shows up, he's like, I found Kevin on the way here. I was like, what? And he holds out his hand and he lets go. And it's a California raisin keychain, but he's cropped the arms and the legs off. So it was just this big fat raisin with the sunglasses and the smirk on his face. And I just about fell over laughing so hard. It just cracked me up. So that's going to stay in my travel case for when I go to shows. So yes.
Yeah, you were proud of that. You showed it to me. You had a smile on your face. I thought that was pretty cool.
Nice. Yeah. Sorry, I said nice. What is this? True Star Screamer. Yes, sad you couldn't make Zolocon. Likewise. I did get to meet some people that I had known online or you know, meet before. Obi Greg bought one of my customs. He said he wanted to get it at Legion's Con but didn't, or saw it at Legion's Con. And he got my Black Falcon this weekend and posted some cool pictures of it. And I just got to say, once a custom goes home to someone that really wants it, and if they share pictures, I don't even really care that it's like, oh, hey, they're promoting my work. It's like, that looks cool and they're having fun with it. And that makes me happy. Yes. And it looks like Dylan has entered the chat. Oh, he was letting people handle his Chatsworth. See, that's already not as funny because Mark already told us he was hanging around your neck and that you didn't pull it out of your pocket. So,
Sorry, Dylan. Cat's out of the
trust
bag.
a screamer. True star screamer. Okay. Okay. Right. Okay, I gotcha. Well, what do you prefer to be called? Trust a true star screamer. But yes. Hey, what's up, Blake? Saying hi, Jesse and Mark. Fist bump. Is that big teeth or a mask emoji? I can't tell.
That is a grinning emoji. He's
Is it
happy.
okay? Okay.
What's up, Blake?
True is preferred. You got it. All right, you got it.
I just got off the phone with him. I was on the phone with him for like over an hour. We were just shooting the shit,
Blake.
going over. Yeah, Blake. We
Nice.
talk regularly.
Very cool.
Yeah, he was showing me some of his new figures he got and his Legions collection, which he's hasn't showed me until today. He's
Okay.
very proud of it. Very proud of it. He's got a really good collection. Nice
Nice.
displays. But we all know
Very
this
cool.
about Blake when you see his Warhammer collection. So his mythic is not lacking.
Okay. Excellent. Well, so we've got the entry debacle and the nervousness over getting the figure and the discussion of flippers and all that stuff. And William said, seem stressed. There are stressful moments at every convention, even if I'm having fun. It's a long week for vendors. It's a long weekend. I know for attendees, especially you folks that like get up super early, drive and come in. Like it's long for everybody, but the vendors, they opened on Friday at 10 a.m. So I was there just before 10 a.m. Start hauling stuff in, and it's easier to get in and out of there than it was at the Fuge, where they used to have ZoloCon. But instead of one cramped elevator and really narrow stairs to get up and down and just a really awkward building layout, it's you've got like this underground tunnel that comes down along the side, and everybody's in line to get in and out. And I will say this, the crew that were handling that, like the floor crew that were directing the traffic and helping people get carts, like they helped me unload my car and get the stuff into the table so I could get out of the way really quick. It was like those folks had it going on. There was a guy walking around today. I don't know if he had it the whole weekend, but I noticed today he had an orange fanny pack with like a fur loincloth. So I don't know if it was supposed to be like a He-Man kind of like thing, but he had jeans on. So it was like this weird fanny pack merkin thing going. And I just about died today looking at that as he walked by, because I was like, I just could not process what I was seeing. But he was cool. The whole crew getting people in and out were great. You know, but for folks like me, and I know a lot of us in the toy community are a little more introverted. So like big social gatherings with lots of people can take a lot of energy out of us. Because being introverted doesn't just mean you don't like being around people. That can be a facet of it. It just means you burn out faster,
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. And doing conventions, so I don't know how the Horsemen are going to be doing it, because they're doing one this weekend. They've got MesquiCon in 3 weeks. I don't know if there's anything between there. Then there's like Toylanta. Like the first couple months, there's a ton of stuff once ZoloCon kicks things off. Like really well packed. But for them and for those of us that go to shows, I hope you take some time to relax. Like that's why tonight we're not doing shooting the shelf. Curtis had some stuff going on. Everything's fine. We'll be back. We've got a guest next week. I don't have my slide prepared for who it is, but I think it's next week. Let me double check that. Mark, say something about social anxiety and being worn out after conventions and large gatherings.
Sure. I was extremely nervous when I went to my first Toy Con. with my kids last year because I didn't know anybody. Um, so I had showed up. I think I've told this story like Zero Dark Early. You and Brett and Dylan and a whole bunch of other people were already there online, and I was very nervous. I tend to keep to myself. Social anxiety is definitely a thing. But you know, the Legions community will open their arms up to people that they don't know. So
Mhm.
uh, we're just one big family.
Yeah,
So it eases the social anxiety. Let's put it that way.
it does. It helps take some of the nervousness away, but for me, like I still get worn out and like I would love to have tomorrow off and just like not
Recuperate.
leave my
Yeah.
apartment. Just like I don't feel sick. I mean, I'm a little tired, my feet are a little sore, but like one
Drained.
thing that helps, but like it mentally drained.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the nice thing about where I work is for the most part, I don't deal with the public too much. And it's just the people immediately around me. I mean, there's a lot of noise and overstimulation with all the equipment and stuff going on, but like it's not too bad. So it'd be worse if I was still doing the comic book shop, which I loved, and I love the people that come in there. But um, hey, we got Drunk Gizmo popping in saying, "Love you, brother Mark."
Love you
Also, of
too,
course, love
Alex.
you too, Alex. Happy belated birthday. It was his
Yes. Happy
birthday this
birthday.
week. It was Chris's birthday. And when Chris came in, everybody was wishing him happy birthday. I went to say happy birthday to him, but he said happy birthday to me, which just kind of made everything confused. It's like when I say happy or good morning to people at night. Um, Aunt Shelly had her birthday either, I think, Saturday. And yeah, lots of birthdays. So a lot of, what was 7 months ago? I can't do math.
Your birthday?
So spring. So spring, a lot of parents getting busy in the spring back in the day for all these birthdays to be happening, right? Like later spring, almost summer. I don't know. I can't my math is overspent for the weekend. Um yeah, totally. Introvert should I yeah. See, and that's the thing. Like it's amazing, and you said this just now, but like the Legions community, so many of us are, and I know Curtis has talked about this. He was super nervous about going to his first Legions Con in 22. Um, and we all know what Curtis is like.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not that is not a dig. That like he is the most at those conventions. He just comes alive, and the whole online persona of like the curmudgeon and all that stuff like that goes away, and he's just happy to see everybody. I was surprised. Like Trevor wanted to give me a hug. Not, I don't know. It just seemed like he was like, "Get over here!" And I was in the middle of talking to somebody. I was kind of like, "Hold on." It was just, when I saw him yesterday, that kind of threw me off. Not it just, it's just cool that so many people can, Obviously we do the D&D thing with Legion's Quest and those guys. So, there's a little bit more of a connection on some levels with some stuff, just spending more time with certain people. Um, but yeah, it's um, you can still be an introvert and enjoy the social thing. You just burn out, and everybody that's got the different reactions to it, takes longer or faster to recharge than others, and that's okay. That's why we always say at Legion's Con or these big conventions, if there's a hotel, go step outside, take a break. If you need to, go to your room, give yourself a little bit of peace and quiet, and let yourself recharge if it's too much, because the sounds are overwhelming at these conventions. It's hard
Mm-hmm.
to hear each other. Um, some of them, if there's food and stuff nearby, if there's music, there's all sorts of stuff. But like, if you can make it to shows and there's going to be a community of people around you there, it's a lot of fun. So yeah.
Last year when I went to Zolo, that was my first Toy Con experience. Um, I knew absolutely nobody, nobody. I went with my family, and I recognized, I think, one person, and that was Junkion. Crafts and Builds, and
Okay,
I
yeah.
only recognized him because I had seen some of his YouTube work. Um, Other than that, I knew zero people going to ZoloCon last year. So I was like in and out, if you catch my drift. We
Mm-hmm.
there through opening, I hit the tables I needed to hit, get what I needed to get, and then we were gone. We might have stayed there maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours tops. But this time around, I would have stayed longer. Um, but my son, he was tired and he was hungry, so he wanted to go get food. He wanted to go to Chick-fil-A, so we decided to leave. I think it was around 1:30, maybe something to 2 when we got out of there. If he wasn't tired and he wasn't hungry, I would have stayed probably until the end.
Well, I remember it at ToyCon. What was it, in May last year or April?
Yeah.
You
No,
came out and
it what it was the one. No, the I think the one in April was at the Armory, and then the second one, which
oh right, the one that
was
was
at
at like the weird.
Lackawanna,
Um,
Lackawanna Train Terminal.
yes,
Yeah,
that one.
yeah,
You kept saying, "Oh, I'm tired. I should go home," and you stayed the whole time. And then
yeah,
like
pretty much.
you were whooped the next day. I think.
Oh man, I was dead on my feet. I did Off World the night before, and then I
Mm,
stayed on
that's right. That's
after
right.
the show, and I was bullshitting with Joe and Blake and a couple of other people, and by the time we got done, it was like 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning my time, and I had a 4 o'clock wake up call already. So I'm like, I'm not going to sleep for 2 hours.
Yeah.
So I fought it, and I really wanted to go to Brandon's barbecue
Yep.
afterwards, right? I brought potato salad, homemade potato salad for it. But and just the whole excitement of that day, the energy of everything, hanging out with you guys, watching you play with your toys at the table, it just everything just flushed right out of me. All the energy, everything. I don't even remember how I got home. It was like 1 second I get in the truck and I'm leaving the parking lot, and the next second I'm pulling in my driveway. It's like what just happened?
Yeah.
I didn't even come up here and like mess with any of the toys I got. I just like put everything here in my room and went right into my bedroom and just collapsed on the bed.
That's. I'll circle back to that thought. We got a question here. I know it was when you were talking about the question popped up while you were talking about the first time you went and you were only there for a couple hours and then you left. And then sticking around. So this is from William, who I met last year at Mesquite Con. He came to Legion's Con. Pretty quiet dude, but he was so excited to be there. At least it looked like to me like he was really excited, and just he was zipping around the place. And every time I turn around, I'd see him somewhere. He's like smiling and talking to somebody. He's asking, "Did you have some fun experiences?" William, I'm going to ask you if you can clarify this a little bit since we've progressed a little in the conversation. Can you clarify this question a little bit? I'm assuming it was for Mark. Just wondering where that fell. So we'll give that one a second, and I'll come back to my thought. When I went to the Twice concert 2 weeks ago, which is the K-pop group, it was a over 20,000 person arena, hockey arena in DC. Went by myself, and everybody's like, "Oh, you'll make friends." Everybody that in online groups that were fans, were like, "Oh, you know." And I don't know if I made any friends that like I didn't get anybody's names to stay in contact with, but while I was waiting in line, I did talk to the lady in front of me and just said, "Hey, I'll save your spot if you need to go to the bathroom or get something to eat. Your spot's good." And we talked to each other, through the whole like 2.5 hours of waiting. And then we went in and waited for an hour, and there was like a sound check, and then waited for 2 hours for the concert. We're like hanging out for like half the day together, just talking about what we liked about the group and different bands and everything. And it was cool. So it wasn't at like I didn't feel as welcomed in the Legions community, but I felt welcomed by a couple people, and that was nice. But as soon as I got home, it was like 1:30 in the morning. Like I just crawled into bed and then Saturday I didn't do anything for the whole day Saturday. And that was just one day, but that was a completely new experience. So let's see if William has
Hey, Blake,
I
my
haven't seen.
son, you'll frown upon this, but my son and I both like the chicken sandwich from Chick-fil-A
Why would he frown on that? Isn't
because
that
it's
kind of the
fried.
whole thing?
It's
But that's
fried.
the whole point of
He would.
Chick-fil-A, isn't it?
Well, they do have a grilled one where it's
No one
healthier for
goes to
you.
Chick-fil-A for the grilled chicken sandwich,
Well,
except for
Blake
maybe
probably.
Blake.
Yeah.
But I bet you Blake goes somewhere else if he wants a grilled chicken sandwich.
I don't know, man. Chick-fil-A is pretty
I'm not
damn
saying it's
good.
bad, but I just knowing Blake in West Coast, like there's probably some cool spot
Oh
that
yeah,
we don't have
probably.
here,
Yeah.
So we'll give William, if you phrase that question, that's cool. I'm going to circle around to this one real quick. All right, I stand corrected. I will take my words back. My buddy Mark Rivera says he does go to Chick-fil-A for their. I'm assuming that's what this I do means, unless someone just proposed to him, in which case, boo. Jen, Lucky Sprinkles. I was super nervous going to Legion's Con by myself for the first time and didn't know anyone. But everyone made me feel so comfortable, even though they had no idea who I was. Well, there you go. All right. Well, whoa. Yeah, hell yeah, the spicy chicken sandwich. Okay. All right. So Blake not only is a fitness nut and very healthy specimen of a human being,
Yes, he is.
also likes a good spicy breaded chicken sandwich. So
Good for him.
okay, here we go. So yes, I have a couple, but I'll let you go first. He's asking if you had any good experiences this weekend at Zolo.
Good experiences. Well, other than seeing my friends, getting that connection again, especially with you, Jesse. Haven't seen you since Legions. I think I didn't really have a bad experience per se, except, and I'm going to preface this again, I'm going to save my Valorant for Offworld.
Okay.
I think my most cherished experience of this event was sharing it with my son. It was just me and him. You met him.
Mm-hmm.
No wife in tow, no daughter in tow. It was just a boys' day out, and to see the look on his face when he was looking at all the different toys, and when he actually told me when he wanted something, and I was able to get it for him. That was the most cherished experience. Being able
Cool.
to bond with him over toys.
That's awesome. Well, before I share some of mine, what was obviously you guys went through the Horseman line. Did he get anything at the Horseman line?
No, I've pretty
Okay.
much got him everything that he wants from the Necro line, which he's really into the
Okay.
Knights. He loves the
Okay.
Knights. He's not really into the Skellies. I don't know what's wrong with him. He's not into the goblins or anything. So yeah, I really don't know what's wrong with him. He likes the Templars. He likes the Knights. So I've
Okay.
pretty much gotten him every single night to date thus far.
Okay.
At least every night that I have, he has. So he's not into Cosmic. And I told him to save his money, that hopefully at ToyCon, I'm keeping my fingers crossed that Rising Suns will be there for sale, because I think Street Date's in March
I
for
believe so.
retailers. So I'm
I
hoping that they'll start having them at the shows. And I told him there's some really, really cool figures he's going to want in that
yeah.
wave.
Nice. Nice. So then the follow-up question is then you said there was some stuff that he did light up and react to and wanted to get. What was one or two things that stood out to you as either surprising you that he wanted or was just really cool to see him so excited about.
He got excited. Well, he likes the Vala figures. He
Okay.
gravitates more towards the robots in Vala's line. So he's got pretty much every single Praetorian that he's made to date. I bought him.
Okay.
I bought him the last two yesterday for his collection. He was gravitating towards the Monster Force figures. He was looking at those
Okay.
as I
Okay.
was looking at them. I did pick one up this weekend, one that was hard for me to find. Um, and then he kind of gravitated towards the Skeletron figures. Um,
Okay.
I picked up some of the 6-inch that they have there. Actually, I picked up all the 6-inch that they had there.
Oh,
Um,
Skeletron has 6-inch figures too.
oh yeah. Um,
I saw their Dio. I didn't linger at the table too much. Oh, nice.
yeah, yeah. This is
Very cool.
the Jungle Wolf Trooper 6-inch.
Sweet.
Yeah, and they fit in the Robo Skull. So,
Oh,
which
of
thus
course. Of
I do
course.
not have that yet. On the fence about it, but I'm leaning towards trying to acquire one. But he
Cool.
was, yeah, he was. His eyes were lighting up when he was seeing these. But I do believe he wants. He said something to me in the truck when we were driving home that he wants a female legendary warrior.
Okay.
Uh, so ToyCon, I'm hoping I can get. Hoping. I'm not saying I will. It all depends on place in
Of
line.
course. Of course. Of course.
Um, that I can get him one. I was planning on maybe trying to get another one for myself, but if he wants one, it's going to be for him. Um, I do have another legendary barbarian that I think I'm going to surprise him with because he doesn't have one.
Okay.
So, um,
Has he had any interest in the well, I guess it's been the Toylanta kind of like Joe-ish military looking guys?
he. So I have the entire GI Joe classified collection up until Armored Cobra Commander, and everything is on display above me. I've even got the HasLabs sitting up on my shelves. His tank down there. Um, he's not that excited about GI Joe.
Okay.
It's not like
Okay.
I was when I was a kid, and was all nostalgia for me. He's not like I've got the graphic novels. I did the Kickstarter. I think last year and a half ago, where they were doing the complete Marvel run in 4
Yep.
big giant hardback books. I did the Kickstarter. Um, he I told him about it, and he just not interested in reading those books. So I mean,
Okay.
GI Joe doesn't do it for him.
So
He's
even the more generic, like the ATL trooper and the what is it, Lieutenant?
Yeah, no, he's really not into Cosmic. He's really not into
Okay.
ATL. Uh, I've tried to get him into some of like the demons or the skeletons or whatever. Now, I will correct myself. He did ask me this weekend. Let me back up. So, first of all, for everybody out there, this
Oh,
is my
quick,
most
can I pause real
prized.
quick?
Go ahead.
Just maybe for some context, we got Hayes asking how old your son is.
He's 16 going on 17.
Okay.
So, there's a story behind this, and we'll get into it. But this
Oh,
is my
nice
most.
shirt, by the way.
Oh, isn't it? Great shirt.
I almost wore that one today.
We would have been twinsies. You would have been the better looking one, though.
Uh,
This is
TBD.
my most prized possession from ZoloCon. Right here. This guy. So, story behind this guy. I've been chasing the trolls, right? And this was the last troll that I needed. So, going back to Halloween, they did the Case of Skeletons. Um, and I threw out in our chat group, anybody wants to go in half, and I believe you did too. So, we messaged one another and like, hey, we'll go in half, right? I'll pay in advance, and when, this stuff comes in, we'll square up, not a big deal. I think it was the last Shooting the Shelf I was on last month. I think it was me and the other Jesse.
Yes.
And I don't know how the conversation came up. We were talking about customs and we were talking about trolls or something. And I had mentioned that you had shown this without a head that you were doing a custom or something, and you were just showing this one without a head.
Yeah.
And I said, I was missing that troll. I said, I have 3 of the 4 trolls, and I just said it in passing. So Jesse had messaged me like a day or 2 later, and he's like, hey, this troll is extra. I just have to find the heads for it. Would you be interested in it? And I was like, of course I'd be interested in it. And I said, let me run this by you. If you remember, I said, how about this? How about, since I already paid for the skeletons, you just give me the troll and I'll give you half the skeletons and we'll call it even. I said, does that work for you? And you were like, yeah, that totally works for me if you're okay with that. And I'm like, I wouldn't have mentioned it if I wasn't okay with it. So, it worked out. So my son yesterday was asking me about this because I'm not going to lie. I pulled him out of the bag when we got in the truck and I propped his legs up and I sat him right on the dashboard as we were driving home. He was my travel troll. So he was asking me about it. He's like, why did Jesse give that to you? And I told him, I think just came out of the Chick-fil-A line. And the drive-through person was looking at this thing like I was absolutely batshit.
Should have held it up like it wanted a pup cup or something.
Yeah, right? Hey, can I get a pup
Please,
cup?
Please, can I have some chicken?
So, I told him, I said, they're, the Halloween skeletons. He's like, he asked me, he says, what are those? I said, they're all different colors. They're purple, orange, yellow, blue. And I said, there was a chase one in there, the black one. And he's like, really? He's like, there's different colored skeletons. I'm like, yeah, for the Halloween ones. Yes. He says, but I've only ever seen you with the white ones and the gray one, the graveyard. And I was like, no, these ones were pre-ordered. We haven't got them yet. We should hopefully get them soon. He's like, yeah, and you're giving half of them, Jesse. How many come in a case? And I said 12. And I said, Jesse's getting half of them. He's like, so that means you're going to have 6. And I'm like, yeah, your math is math, and I'm proud of you. And he's like, are you going to keep all 6? And I was like, well, I was probably going to do some customs or something. I don't know why. He's like, I think maybe I'd want some skeletons. So I stand corrected. I just remember this. So yes, he seems like now he's maybe interested in skeletons, which is kind of cool. And I forgot, but I do have an extra, the Viking skeleton from the All-Star Wave 6 that I have.
The Viking fell, yeah.
Not Viking fell, the one that came with All-Stars. The one with the
Skeleton Raider or Skelly Bone Splitter?
Skeleton Raider. Thank you.
Okay.
I have an extra Skeleton Raider that's unopened.
Oh, cool.
I may give that to him. I was going to use it for a custom, but I think they're still relatively available. So I think I'd rather have him have it than try and customize it. Only because like I said, he's got a decent amount. He's got all the knights, but that's it. He doesn't have anything else. So maybe I can get his toe dipped into the Skelly Legions or something.
Nice. Well, hey, and then you've got the we'll circle into this now. Unless there's anything else from the convention, I'll share a quick one for me.
No, go ahead.
I'll segue this real quick. With the Kickstarter for the game, there is that new skeleton builder in there. So anybody watching, go check out the Mythic Legions Kickstarter for the role-playing game. and you can order as many of any of those builder figures as you want for $30 plus whatever shipping. Shipping might be weird when you go to check out, but like they'll adjust. I don't know if they've corrected that yet, but if it's like an insane amount, it won't be that insane amount when it actually ships. It's just stuff being weird.
That's Kickstarter.
Yeah. Because like the way there's not the Horseman, but the way the Kickstarter works was weird. The way it was combining shipping and stuff. So there's the skeleton and the orc. They unlocked the monster where you can make either like the armored Varg or the kind of a
Boreas,
like kind of a V2 Borear, if you will. And then all the heroic party characters, you can do all of them for $30 a piece, and like that's great. There's Trevor. Trevor, did you get one of the 4 Horsemen dice shirts?
Hey, Trevor.
Let me know, Trevor.
I almost missed him yesterday. I was walking with Ben from Skeletron to go get the tattoo, and like I'm walking behind him, and I just almost walked right past Trevor. I think Trevor yelled at me, and I turned and I had to like stop for a second, like it had to register in my brain who I was looking at, and I was like, it finally clicked. I'm like, oh shit, Trevor. And I'm like, bro, come over here, give me a hug. And I was like so happy to see him, and he was busy. He was with one of his friends, and like I said, I was in tow with Ben to go get the tattoo. So I was hoping to see him again, but dude, that place was a madhouse on Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday, Trevor, when you get a chance, type in what bug one. There's a bug t-shirt from the Horseman, or just a mini shirt with a bug on it. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Yeah, it was great. Saturday. So ZoloCon, I've been going since 22. 23, I kind of helped out Len, and then 24, 25, full on with Wolf King, and then this year again, still full on with Wolf King. It was a little different setup, just because Dirks was not able to come, so we didn't have the full Wolf King, parts library and all that stuff with us. But we still had a good time, and lots of people coming in, checking the stuff out. Most of our customs between Pat and Nate and I were Wolf King stuff, and then Brian had his crazy fish nightmares and awesome stuff. But all that to say, where was I going with that? Saturday was insane. Like, even compared to last year, it was the first year in the new venue. Saturday felt like significantly busy.
Yeah.
This year, it took me, I might be exaggerating a tiny bit, but it felt like it took me like 15 minutes to walk from my booth to the bathroom in the opposite corner. Not the one up in the front by registration, but like,
you're not exaggerating.
I was like, why? Like, it was just so hard to move through the aisles. Granted, some of that is me. I don't like pushing through. Like, I want to make sure everybody else has a pathway. But I was like, I really gotta pee.
Yeah, it was a madhouse.
Oh yeah, Trevor said he didn't really leave the few rows around the Horseman. Yeah, I was able to do a quick walkthrough Saturday morning before it opened, just to be able to say I walked through the whole show, because I've never done that at ZoloCon at any of the shows, to walk through and at least like have walked around the whole show. Half the tables were still covered up because it was too early. But fish nightmares, I get. Just want to eat sushi. I'm just saying, there's so much stuff in the sea that we know about that's horrifying, let alone the thing we don't know about. And there was that one fish he had that just kind of had that dumb look on its face with an open mouth. It was like the big bobble one with the fin. And I was like, I feel like that thing's just like, like a helium balloon that just got let go outside, and it's just kind of drifting around, but it had like the big like ogre arms and stuff. But anyway, for me, it was walking in and seeing you in line. I mean, seeing everybody was great, but seeing you and just that smile on your face when I walked in, like that was great. Hearing Anthony Halseal's little boy today, because they went to the game show, they took, so that was the thing they had. We'll come back to the game stuff here in a minute, but talk about it. They had the display with Archon and Oksana there yesterday, and then next to it they had their bigger display, and they had all the role playing game prototypes or whatever in there. But today they took it, so Patrick had samples of a Mythic Encounters map, so the upscaled 4x4 grid instead of the 1x1, and we set up a bunch of like our customs from. Like I had my custom character from the game, and he and Anthony and Nate Armstrong and Anthony's son, they had their characters there, and we put in some tuberculi and other villains for them to fight, and put dice all over it and one of the pencils and all this stuff just to help show it off. And they got to talk to some people that were like doing video, like Hedgehog did one, like a little interview, I think with me, and was talking about it for a minute, and then other people were doing stuff. But all that to say, before they walked over there to set up their figures, like Patrick was getting everybody together, and Anthony, now hanging out with Anthony and like the Toy Forge and Funhouse with Mark, they were like kind of beside the Horsemen, so they were like diagonally behind us a space. But it was cool hanging out with those guys again, and we went to dinner with them and the Borderland Horde guys last night. Borderland Horde guys. Got to make sure you get that hard D in that one. Nope. Oh man, I just heard that. Purple Gang gonna clip that for sure.
Yes. It's already been clipped.
All that to say, this is all to tell a heartwarming story about how Anthony says, hey, Tony, to his little boy, who's, I don't know how old he is, 7, 8, I don't know, 6, 7. I'm sorry, I had to do that. He was like, oh, he's like, I brought your figure, because they made custom figures of their characters. He's like, I brought your figure. We're going to go put it on the table. And he's like, you did? Hearing that this morning, this little kid so excited that his dad brought his D&D character to put on the table with all the adult figures was, if I didn't get the female the warrior, if I didn't see anybody else, that was such a heartwarming, wholesome moment. And that's one thing, someone else commented about, seeing the kids running around at the convention and how families are coming, like you and your son, Dub and his son, G and his kids, and what, his little boy is just adorable kid, such a bright smile, all this stuff. I hope the realities of the world don't get to that kid for a long time. That was worth the past 5 years of being into Mythic Legions, just to hear that moment. So that was really cool. Patrick and Nate and I we got done with setup early enough that we were able to leave and go get like a proper meal and come back for the preview show Friday night. So we went to, I forget what the name of the restaurant was, but it was like a soup dumpling place at the King of Prussia Mall. So it's Chinese food, but I'd never had soup dumplings before. And Nate was making jokes how like this, this is not a first date restaurant. And after the way you got to eat those soup dumplings, is definitely not a first date. Like you're on third base with those dumplings. Forget whatever's going on with your date. Like that is the most intimate food experience I have ever had. I don't know how else to describe it, but they were so good. That was really cool. And just getting to, see people and hang out. It was weird. And this isn't like a negative complaint. It was weird without Len. Not just because of the Wolf King thing, but it was just ZoloCon has always had Len and Jeremy, and neither one of them were there because they're going to that other convention.
Yeah.
So it was just weird. It didn't quite feel completely like ZoloCon. It's like it's like watching a Justice League movie and there's no Superman. You know, I'll let you all argue about which one is Superman, or maybe Len's red Superman and Jeremy's blue Superman, or vice versa. I don't know. But it was just different, and not having the whole setup. Again, this isn't a negative thing. It was just different, but it was still the same guys. But it was cool. Like it was so busy, it was so crowded, but it was a lot of fun. Got to talk to new people. I know Mark Houseel with the Funhouse said he had a whole bunch of people who were like new to the line, and they got to be right next to the Horsemen this year, so they got the spot Wolf King usually had at the past things, being right there, which was great because they had a bunch of like 3D printed heads and customs and stuff ready to go. So like that was perfect because they were able to do. We wouldn't have been able to do that this year, as easily. So it was just really cool that they were getting to introduce so many new people to it and all that stuff. And I don't know where I was going with that, but and I know everybody, I last week when Jesse, Marshall, and gosh, Dylan. Oh my gosh, Dylan was on last week. Oh my gosh. I've slept a couple times since then and did a convention. I forgot when they were on, I forget which one of them said like, "Oh, seeing the people." I was like, "Shut up." Like everybody knows that's the best part of the convention. Like the toys are awesome. Everybody wants the female barbarian, but like, or the female warrior rather, but like, oh, shut up, Dylan.
Play with your monkey.
Obviously seeing
I think I broke Jesse.
Dylan, you're not even talking, you're typing. So, I'm not actually telling you to shut up. So remember what I told you about not making eye contact at the show? So that's the thing. If you're walking around and you don't want to talk to people, like the vendors, especially when there's not, you go to Artist Alley at a comic convention, and I've been in Artist Alley, so I'm describing myself here. You see all those sad eyes looking at you like, come buy my comic. It's really cool. It's not even about the money. Like, I just want people to read my comic. Don't make eye contact. If they start talking to you, you don't hear them if your eyes don't connect, and you can just keep walking. So, what was the question? So, to answer William's question, I think we both had a lot of great, good moments. I can't remember if it was Koki and her daughter, or if it was just her, but I got a friendship bracelet from them with the, K-pop Demon Hunter colors, and it's got like the little knotwork that kind of looks like the Korean Norige stuff, the like the tassels and everything. So that was really cool. Paul was walking around with his digital name tag, which is just cool. It feels like I'm living in the future. With that digital display, walking around, getting to see people I don't see all the time. Chris, they did like a birthday. Brian Carr brought a cake that I think it was a Pokemon ball for Chris, and his family was there, and like they were hanging out the whole time, and they were doing like a TikTok dance today. Like it was set up at the Horseman register, like the camera, because no one was there, and the two girls are like dancing, and then George gets behind them and he's dancing with them too. It was awesome. So yeah, it was William overall, a couple moments and things to complain about here and there, but in the long run, it was a good experience, I think, for both of us overall.
What really, see if I can figure out how to explain this without sounding like a retard. So I've been in the community for a year, almost a year. I think it was April when I got into Mythics. So almost a year. And I started watching your show, and I started watching Curtis's show. I mean, we had met one time, like full blown meeting, like standing
Mm-hmm.
having conversation. Was watching your show, watching Curtis, art by Ackerman, because I was really getting into like the customizing
Mm-hmm.
and watching Schmerber's show and all these various shows on here. I couldn't get enough. Right, Dork Lair, just couldn't get enough. Legion's Lounge, Legion's Lair. Um, I went deep down the rabbit hole, and now nobody knew me from nothing, right? And it just kind of like hit me right here a little bit yesterday because I'm standing in line, and I only met Schmerber in person once. I've met Brian Carr in person like maybe once or twice, um, and they saw me standing in line, and Schmerber yelled out my name and started waving to me, like I don't, that just kind of hit me a little bit, like that's cool. Like, all right, yeah, I'm on Off World, and like 5 people watch us, right? It is what it is. I don't put myself out there. I'll talk to people and whatnot, but I'm not larger than life. I'm not like you or Blake or definitely Curtis or whatever. I'm kind of
Are you
laid
calling
back
me fat,
guy.
dude? What?
No, I did not
I'm kidding.
imply
I'm sorry.
that.
I'm interrupting your heartfelt moment and making a dumb joke. Please
No,
continue.
that's okay. That's okay. So yeah, for somebody like Schmerber, who's on all the time and he's well known in the community, and I know all the horsemen know him, and just for him to turn around and yell out my name and give me a thumbs up and a wave, and you know Brian Carr to stop talking to who he's talking to and make direct eye contact with me and like, hey, what's up, Mark? And give me a hug and whatnot. It's really cool. It's just really cool because sometimes I think of myself as that B-rate actor who just does guest spots when nobody else is available, and everybody else is such larger than life, and they've got the ins and outs of everything. So I just, it just, hits me here a little bit.
Well, I pulled you up. I hope you saw this because G said, "We love you, dude. You're an awesome person." That's definitely directed at you. He says he feels the same way, though. The community is really welcoming. And just so you
Yes.
know, as far as actors, I consider myself Ron Howard's brother that just gets cast because he's Ron Howard's brother. And he always plays the like creepy, weird looking dude. So, like,
Yeah, Jesse, you're definitely not Ron Howard's brother.
I mean, I'm not saying I look like him. I'm just saying
Nope, not even casting.
I'm Curtis's Ron Howard to Reggie or whatever his name. I don't remember his real name. But anyway,
Dylan just
Mark,
said, "I'm
you're
one
one
of
of us.
you." Yeah, that thing is going in my head now. One of us, one of us. Like I don't
Yes,
know if that's a
yes,
good thing
yes.
or a bad thing.
It's a very good thing.
I know it is. I know it is.
And William saying he has high hopes for CarverCon and can't wait for MesquiCon. I'm right there with you.
I want to
Glad
get
we
out to
all met
CarverCon.
in line that morning. Yeah, and what was it? Dub Dub said, yeah, we were talking about eating brains at ToyCon New Jersey, and other disgusting things, which were I'm not going to bring up, but I'm pretty sure Dub Dub is about to comment something I don't want to read.
The first ToyCon, Brett, yes, it was
Yep,
drizzling out in
yep.
April.
And there was that horribly racist guy making horrible racist jokes that would just kept coming out and talking to us because we were the only people there.
Uh, yes, I do
Or
remember
what? He
that.
was a vendor. He was the vendor. Yeah.
Yes,
I don't.
yes.
I'm not. He just. Let me rephrase. He made horribly racist jokes. I'll let people make their own determinations on his personality or intentions. But it was awkward and uncomfortable.
It was inappropriate.
Anyway, yeah, it was yeah, and no one was laughing.
No, that's the cue right
Uh,
there. If nobody's laughing, keep it moving.
You are not Frank Stallone, TJ Williams. I'm glad we remember all of this. I don't have to worry about you guys yet. What the hell, Dylan? I tell you to shut up one time too many, and you're already talking about, I don't know, whatever that memory loss thing is. Couldn't read the room. Couldn't read the entire outdoors for the trees. Yes. All right, real quick. It's 10 o'clock. I want to go to bed soon, but I want to get your thoughts because I didn't get to talk to you about this yet.
Okay.
Kickstarter blowing stuff out of the water.
Yes.
I can't imagine what it's going to be like when we come up with that 28-hour marathon at the end in April.
Oh, you guys are doing a marathon again? Like Baythir?
Yep. Yeah.
Oh,
yep.
Nice.
I know I got to check with Curtis. He'd asked me to help with this schedule post, like with all the stuff, but Oz jumped in and said he would do it. So I don't want to step on his toes if he's going to, so I'll check with Oz to see if he's going to make the roster, the itinerary for all the shows. But, but then I know Curtis is going to be gunning to do the whole gauntlet of the whole 28 hours if he can. Is the plan?
That's awesome. That's awesome. I watched that.
No, I know the guys are asking if it was someone we know. I'd only seen him at that show, and I think I maybe saw him at the ToyCon New Jersey at the train station one, just in passing. I think he was selling like old retro video games and stuff. It was not someone I recognized from like that. I wouldn't call him out in the cabal either way, but I don't think it's someone we know as a community.
I've seen him at other toy shows, like the PAL.
Yeah, I mean he's in the toy show community. Yeah, but
yeah,
he's not one of us,
right?
And I'm not saying that he's not one of us because we don't want him. I mean, with those kind of jokes, maybe not. But anyway, I think I'm sticking my own foot in my mouth, and not in a fun way.
I don't think so.
What the hell does that even mean? How does putting the Kickstarter for the TTRPG it blew away the initial goal in 5 minutes, and I'm pretty sure Jeremy said something to the effect that they knew it wasn't an unattainable goal. Like the Kickstarter is mainly knowing what volume they need to create of stuff. Like they've been very open about that. And I like that, they've updated and made sure to, use different terminology to help with some of the confusion for people who've only done different crowdfunding things like HasLab, where you just get everything as it unlocks.
Right.
Whereas Kickstarter, it's whatever the individuals behind the program want it to be. So, so I like that they're being, and I think that's the thing the Horsemen do. And I know I'm going to sound like a shill form or whatever, but I think they do a really good job of being transparent up to the point of like they can't share the information because it's like it for trade secrets and not legal purposes, and like they're not allowed to, but like you just don't want information that's just not information you share with the public. Like I they're really open about stuff and try to be as upfront and clear about everything. I think. So all that to say, Kickstarter's blowing stuff out of the water. I think we're someone who said earlier, I think Freaks said we're 63 away from 63 backers away from another unlock or something, like a faceplate or something. I didn't catch all the updates of stuff that changed when they specified the difference between unlocks and add-ons. And I know we're going to be getting really close to the 750,000 probably this week, if not the next, because I know it's going to stall out now probably. You had that big initial push. We'll see numbers slowly, going up probably over the next couple of weeks. And then, that last 24 hours is going to be crazy. But what are your thoughts? Now, I know don't think you're in any tabletop gaming. I think you've expressed that you would be interested in it, but as far
Oh,
as
absolutely.
the figures and the different things they're offering, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I came late to the party. Uh, I wasn't around when they announced this on Monday, and it went live. I was indisposed, so to speak. Once I uh, tapped back in and got connected again, I saw that it had released. I know I asked a bunch of questions when we were on Off World on Friday because Kickstarter can be confusing. You know, like you just touched upon stretch goals and unlocks and add-ons. It's like, what do you do? Um, I it, when I looked at the Kickstarter and I started scrolling down and seeing all the packages, it's like, okay, this is a no brainer. I know exactly what I'm going to do. The $680 all in. I mean, that's like a no brainer. And but again, too, with Kickstarter, it's like their shipping description down at the bottom was like between $20 and $40, and it's like, all right, that's wrong, and I know it's wrong. There's no way that should cost $40 to ship. You know, I'm sure that'll be adjusted at the end when everything is ready to go. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, the 680 is the best value, I think, that's there because you're getting everything, including the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive from last year. So um and then, like you said before, with $30 add-ons, you can't beat that. $30
Yeah,
skeletons and $30
and
args, or whatever. You cannot beat that.
even if you don't want the game side, which not everybody that is a current Mythic Legions or Horseman collector is going to want the game side stuff. So the fact that you don't have to get anything specifically tied to, I mean, everything in this is tied to the game, but like
Hmm.
you don't have to unlock, you don't have to buy the rule book or the starter kit to get the figures. You can just get the figures, which I think is a crazy cool way to do it. I mean, I haven't tracked any other games that have done anything. I don't know of any ones that have done full articulated figures like this, but this is, because it's going backwards. It's going figures came first,
Right.
games. So, if you just want to get a whole army of skeletons, Brett Stoddard, I'm looking at you. You can.
For
If you
$30.
just want to get a whole army of orcs for $30 plus shipping, and then you get the upgrade, you can do the add-on pack, or I don't want to use the wrong words, but whatever, the accessory packs to swap them out to other things. And
Hmm.
um you know it's just really cool.
I
And
would.
and they have the option. I think Kickstarter started this sometime last year. I think the pay over time, where you can split it up over like 3 or 4 payments or something like that, which is cool because you've got however long the Kickstarter runs, which every company gets to decide how long they want it to go. It could go for 3 weeks or 3 months if they wanted to. Um, so it's just really buying those skellies, absolutely. Um, but I'm really excited to see where the game aspect of it goes, because as much as I love Mythic Legions, I love D&D and table. I don't dislike other games. That's just the only thing I know enough to say to use it as a comparison, and it's built off of the 5e edition, the 2014 5e. So I'm excited to see what people get to do. I'm excited that they're inviting us even further into the world of Mythos to tell our own stories, with these figures, and the fact that none of these figures in the order are named characters, because they're meant for player characters to make whoever they want to be. Um, sorry, that just was a complete ramble, but yeah.
I haven't played. I think I shared this with you guys before. I haven't played D&D since the early '90s, and that early '90s, no internet. You played face to face at a table.
Mm-hmm.
And it was me and just a bunch of other Marines that grew up playing D&D, but through various deployments and redeployments or whatever, the group kind of broke up, and then I got married and I had nobody to play with. So 90, 92, 93 was the last time that I have ever played a tabletop game, D&D. So when I obviously I knew you guys were playing D&D and
Mm-hmm.
putting it out on YouTube, and I've watched every episode. And I will sit and I will just put this minimize the screen and listen while I'm doing something else, and maybe close my eyes and theater of the mind, as Joe put it the other
Mm-hmm.
night, and just sit there, listen to you guys talk, and imagine, visualize it in my head. Um, I am so looking forward when they announce this to try and get back in, get into a group, do something. Because I'm not getting any younger, and I really do miss that fantasy role playing world.
Nice. Nice that you miss it and you want to go back. And I hope you get to experience that again soon. With in person, 100% in person is the best way to play. I totally
Absolutely.
agree. But because of stuff with the internet and Roll20 and D&D Beyond and all the other virtual tabletops, and even just a Zoom call or FaceTime or Skype or whatever people use these days,
Discord.
groups, Discord, you can do it online. Because like that's how we're able to do it. Because Trevor's where he is, Bill's where he is. None of us are in the same state,
Mm-hmm.
and some of us are in. Half of us are in different time zones, or at least two of us are in different time zones and different time zones again. So like it's and scheduling is the hardest thing. So getting everybody across time zone, we make it work. And we're excited, and I can't wait to play like full official, and this is just the beginning. Like the whole plan is to add more because again, there's only so much I can say until it's fully revealed. But
I hope this is a huge success for them, because my mind wants them to start putting out character packs. Not necessarily like a weapons pack or anything, but like what we see in the Kickstarter, where you can buy a head and a cloak and something else, a kit, so you can transform a figure, right?
yeah, well, they started it with the Cosmic last year, and now we're getting
Yes.
the second wave of those, and now they're doing it with the Kickstarter. So I think that's something because it'll be faster to produce,
Mm-hmm.
and it'll give people a way to give like a little injection between the big waves, depending on
Mm-hmm.
how production falls and everything. So
The Horsemen, they're not stupid. And Jeremy definitely isn't stupid. He sits back and he watches, and you've got these companies like um, Death by Plastic. Who sells that on eBay? The capes. I always forget their name. I know they're the capes coming to thing, and it says Death by Plastic.
I don't remember.
It's the name's eluding me, but you also have Max Bird. You've got other people out there that are doing soft goods, and they're
Yeah.
not overly expensive, and there's a market there to tap into for the four horsemen to tap into, to start doing smaller, not full blown figure releases with soft goods and everything, but kits.
Mm-hmm.
A head, a cloak, something different, so you can transform a figure. You get a generic Legion builder, and you get the builder pack, and you can transform that thing. Right.
Yep.
I think that's got huge potential. Huge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. And that's a way to keep things interesting going down the line. So if they want it, I believe the plan is for those things to be specifically available in game stores because it's
Yes.
for the game. That is my understanding. I'm not, don't quote me on that, but that's my understanding. I could be wrong. I understand stuff wrong a lot. But that's cool because then you get to differentiate between your regular retailers and your game retailers. So they're not stepping on each other's feet. So if you've got two retailers and two game shops in the same town that have the same draw, you're not, you can go get the game stuff at the game shop and then go get the other builders from the retailers or whatever, right? It's the whole thing, the whole rising tides raise all ships, that kind of thing, right?
Yes.
But then down the road, maybe they'll sell a new Paladin kit that you can swap out the SDC set for white and purple soft goods, or whatever color, it's a way to easily add a thing without having to use paint. So it's a way to bring in more customizing in the pop and swap variety without you having to be a painter. And because not everybody's going to want to have to do the time to paint, and painting a mini is fun. Painting movable joints is not as fun, but then you can pose the figure. So if you can just swap out some of the soft goods or put on a head with a different cloak, it's bada bing, bada boom. I don't know if that was the right way to use that, but I did. I was close to Jersey all weekend. It felt right. But speaking of the full moon, I am starting to wane, like the waning moon will be soon. I've said wane too much, and now all I can think of is Wayne's World. I think it's time for me to go to bed. But that said, Mark, is there anything else you want to say about ZoloCon, about anything? The floor is yours.
Great time. Awesome time with my kid. Loved seeing everyone once again. I love the energy of the room. Nothing really too negative to say with the event that I haven't already said yet. Definitely looking forward to ToyCon New Jersey to be amongst my friends yet again, and Legion's Con.
Yes. Yeah, and I'll say this, I'm not going to get political about it. If you know me, you know how I feel about stuff. I mean, you, Mark, specifically, and just people in the chat or people watching down the road. Some stuff happened over the weekend, and there's a lot of people in harm's way that, however you feel about it one way or the other, they're in harm's way or causing harm because it's their job. Maybe all that to say, I don't want to just give the generic thoughts and prayers because, that feels very dismissive, but, I don't know what else to say. I just hope that whatever's going on ends soon, and that we can all work towards not that happening. I don't know how else to say that. And, and again, I don't know if I'm being too vague. I don't know. It's just, it's on my heart and it's on my mind.
Nope.
And I know we're here talking about toys and having a good time. And there are people who are, and it's always the case, but it's just really, to a different level this weekend. So just hope everybody can stay safe. And there's a lot of crap going on and a lot of things that everybody has to deal with. So try to act with kindness and love. And yeah. I think that's all I'll say about that.
Well said.
So, yes. Alan at Vine Jungle Figure Factory says he's going to try to make ZoloCon next year. I think you'll have a good, Alan, if you can make it, I think you'll enjoy it. It's pretty cool.
Love to meet you in person, Alan.
Yes, for sure. Excuse me. All right. We'll sign off. Everybody look forward to Mark on Off-World this coming week with whatever this rant he is teasing. I hope you get to get that off your chest.
Oh,
thanks for hanging out with me tonight. And tune in next week, folks. Curtis and I will be back with Shooting the Self next Sunday night, March, what is that, 8th? It is daylight savings time. We're switching over saving time starting next week. So clocks go forward next week. Stupidest thing in the world.
It was an hour of our lives.
It's not. But next week, I am drawing a blank on their actual names, but we've got the soft good partners with Chris on D13 Toys for their Nippon Adventures, the new Japan-based line they've got coming out. So we've got why can't I read my phone because the light is dim? Eudore Japan and Hob Idea, the crew from Japan, are going to be on with us. They're 12 or 14 hours ahead of us, so we'll be going live at 8 p.m. and it'll be 10 a.m. their time on Monday. Wow. So this is, I think, the biggest international time difference we have. So we'll have them on to talk about just their interests, their hobbies, some of the stuff they're doing with D13 and the Nippon Adventures, and see what's going on there. And maybe Curtis and I and other folks will be able to get some soft goods and figures to make some Blue-Eyed Samurai customs with appropriate details and styles and stuff. So, all right, Mark, thank you for joining me. It was really good to see you this weekend.
Yes, it was, brother.
Glad you and your son had a good time. And always. And everybody that stopped by the Wolf King table and saw me and Patrick and Nate and Brian, thank you so much. It was great to hang out with everybody. And I don't know, you're probably not watching, but there was a gentleman who bought the Masterpiece Soundwave and cassettes from me. If you happen to see this, please reach out to me. I found a piece on the table after I opened the box to show you, and it fell out. I don't think it's essential, but if you want it, reach out to me and I will get it mailed out to you. If you even see this, I don't know. Yes, that's it. Good night. Love you all. Thanks for being here. There's no outro, so this is just going to be a hard close until next time, when Curtis is here to say, what's on your show? I've got to click too many buttons to end this.